What's up, nerds? I don't think it's any secret at this point that Naruto is one of my favorite anime of all times. As such, I often enjoy thinking up fun what-ifs on the series, which is what brings me to the subject of this video. Hinata's lifelong love for Naruto is practically legendary at this point, and equally legendary is Naruto's obliviousness to her feelings. But what if he wasn't so oblivious? What if she was able to make enough of an impact on him that he starts to fall for her? This theory will be covering that very question. Obviously, this will have spoilers for all over the Naruto timeline, so if that matters to you, then there you go, you've been warned. One last note before we kick things off is I am very well aware that this is not an original idea. I know that there are many videos talking about this very what-if scenario. I went out of my way to not watch any of them, so if there are any similarities to whatever other video, I promise they are all coincidental. Now then, with those disclaimers out of the way, let's begin. So, the first thing we have to determine is, where does this start? Well, in a way, it starts the same place it does for Hinata. The day when they're children and Naruto stands up to some bullies who were picking on Hinata. He gets beaten up and his scarf gets torn to literal shreds. In this version, as Naruto is walking away, Hinata says thank you very much and promises to fix his scarf for him one day. She then takes a small scrap in her arms and hurries home. Because she turned away so quickly, she didn't notice that Naruto had stopped walking. He didn't care about the thank you, he just did what felt right to him. He didn't need to be thanked for that. But the fact that she wanted to repair something of his for him took him by surprise. No one in the village, save for Iruka, ever showed any real concern for Naruto himself, never mind his things. Ultimately, the scarf meant nothing to him, but Hinata's kind offer made him pause. The next couple years go by and not much has changed. Naruto is grateful that the villagers are going easy on the glares that day as he heads to the woods to train safely. As he passes one of the playgrounds, he overhears some girls mention how Sasuke, allegedly, has a thing for girls with long hair. Hearing this has him notice that a lot of the girls in his class had started growing their hair out. He shrugs it off, not really caring about the love life of the most infuriating kid he's ever met. Later that evening, Naruto's on his way home when he notices Hinata. She's walking through the village with a Hyuga attendant accompanying her. Normally, he'd just turn away and keep walking, not wanting to deal with the glare he'd get from the attendant. But something about Hinata stuck out to him. Her short hair. Out of all the girls their age that he's seen, she's the only one who hasn't been growing out her hair. Huh, Naruto thinks to himself. I guess she's not into Sasuke. Nice to know she's got class. He smirks to himself at the mental thought. And then, a different thought comes to mind. If she doesn't like Sasuke, then maybe she has a crush on someone else? Naruto doesn't know why he's thinking about it so much, but it distracts him long enough for Hinata to catch him looking in her direction. Spotting the object of her affection, Hinata can't help the blush rise to her cheeks, or the small smile that graces her lips. Naruto notices the smile, and he won't be able to get it out of his head for the next several days, though he couldn't fathom why. Next week, in class, Iruka poses a hypothetical question to the class. If the world were to come to an end tomorrow, who would you spend your last day on Earth with? Hinata, though shy about it, would write Naruto's name. Naruto himself, however, would be rather stumped. He has no friends, he never got to meet his parents. To his knowledge, he has no godfather or any type of legal guardian. Nice job, Jiraiya. So he doesn't really know who he can write down. That's when Hinata's smile flashes in his mind again. He feels his hand grip his pencil a little tighter, and his heart started beating a little bit faster. Could he write her name down? Would that be right? When he imagines hanging out with Hinata for a whole day, he admits to himself it's not the worst feeling in the world. He writes her name down before immediately folding it into a paper airplane and throwing it out the window, disregarding the assignment to Iroka's face the moment he's called out for it. For the rest of Naruto's time at the academy, very little changes from the canon, with one exception. With Naruto's more personal thoughts centering more on Hinata, he never takes on any romantic interest in Sakura. More often than not, he just ignores her entirely, since she spends so much time vying for Sasuke's attention. As a result, Sakura doesn't have as volatilely negative of an opinion of him at this point, though still not wanting to associate with the troublemaker in the class. For the sake of simplicity, we'll say that everyone gets assigned to the same squads as in the canon, since Naruto's budding affection would not affect anybody's grades in any way. Naruto and Hinata's early careers as ninja don't get affected all that much. In fact, there aren't any new developments until the preliminaries are nearly over for the Chunin exams. Hinata was defeated by Neji, badly wounded, and being carted off to the hospital. Neji is being restrained by 4 Jonin, including the proctor for the preliminary matches. Naruto is fuming in rage at Neji's disrespect, and is only held back by Lee, who understands all too well how frustrating Neji can be. He coats his knuckles in Hinata's blood and vows to beat some sense into him when they fight later in the exam. After the preliminary matches are over, Naruto ignores Sakura, Kakashi, and everyone else. He runs straight to the hospital and checks in on Hinata. The medics have stabilized her, and they say that she'll likely wake up within the next few days. He tells an unconscious Hinata that he's gonna make good on his promise, before placing the healing ointment that she gave him on the table, and leaving for the day. The next day, Hinata wakes up and is surprised when the nurse tells her she got a visitor. She knew it wasn't her father, and reasoned that Kurenai was likely busy with Shino, so she couldn't figure out who the visitor was. Then, she notices the ointment on the bedside table. She recognizes it immediately and becomes flustered. Naruto visited her? Why? Is it possible that the strength of her resolve managed to be conveyed to him during her fight? She shakes her head, thinking that's absurd. Naruto likely popped in to offer the ointment before leaving to train for the finals. He was a nice guy, and he was cheering her on so hard during the match. He probably just wanted to make sure her life wasn't in danger. While lesser, it still did make her happy. Naruto did, in fact, visit her. A little while later, after training with Jiraiya for a few days, he's gotten an opportunity to visit Hinata again. She says that she's starting to feel much better and will even be cleared from the hospital in a few weeks. She also asks why he left the ointment. Naruto looks away. Well, it's just... the ointment worked super fast on me, so I just figured it'd help you recover. He answers, slightly nervously, a detail that doesn't go unnoticed by Hinata. Was Naruto being shy? Why? Why would he be shy about this? She decides not to dwell on it and thank him for his thoughtfulness, which seems to bring Naruto out of his nervousness. He then asks if she needs help applying it and that he's happy to rub the ointment anywhere on her that she needs. To which Hinata promptly faints, causing Naruto to panic and scramble for a doctor. We now cut to the day of the finals. Hinata's walking about when Neji approaches her, and they have their usual conversation, including Naruto's commentary toward Hinata at the end. Only now, it carries extra weight. Between Naruto saying that he likes Hinata's weirdness, quote-unquote, combined with the repeated visits to her as she recovered, cause a single question to come up in her mind. Does Naruto like me? She can't help wondering this as Kiba picks her up to walk her into the Chunin exam arena to watch the final matches. We cut to after Orochimaru and Gaara are both defeated, and Naruto gets released from the hospital. Hinata's there to greet him as he leaves, informing him that only Shikamaru was promoted to Chunin. Naruto does seem bummed out for a moment, but perks up quickly enough and asks if she wants to join him for a bowl of ramen at Ichiraku's to celebrate the both of them being cleared from the hospital. Hinata gets immediately flustered, but agrees with a silent nod. Internally giddy beyond all reason that she's going on a kind of date with the boy she's been in love with for so long. Naruto is equally elated. In truth, he's been wanting to hang out with her more since the first round of the Chunin exam started. The fact that she was prepared to risk elimination to help him pass was touching to him, even if he didn't really show it at the time. After that, though, Naruto and Hinata would get very scarce moments to interact, with Naruto and Jiraiya going off to find Tsunade to be the 5th Hokage, and the following mission to catch Sasuke when he leaves with the Sound 4. But, whenever a moment arose, they always made sure to capitalize it by spending as much time as they could together, growing closer and closer with each visit. When Naruto declared that he was leaving the village to train with Jiraiya, Neji and Sakura expected Hinata to be heartbroken at his departure. But she knows that this is something he feels he has to do. She knows how determined Naruto can get, especially where his friends are concerned. Besides, she needed the time anyways. She wanted to make sure that when he did come back, she would be strong enough to properly tell him how she feels. She would also need to start learning how to sew. Cutting 2.5 years into the future, Hinata has been working hard on self-improvement. She's been training with Neji to improve her fighting and Byakugan skills. She's also been having a lot of conversations with Kurenai about confidence. She definitely tries, but the idea of fully confessing to Naruto is still enough to leave her a stuttering mess. Meanwhile, Naruto took his training very seriously, doing everything he can to develop new jutsu and master how to suppress the Nine-Tails' influence. However, as much as he enjoyed that difficult training, he was excited to return home. He missed the Leaf Village, Kakashi, Sakura, Tsunade, his friends he made during the Chunin exams, and of course, Hinata. The one time they went to have ramen has stuck with him the entire time. It's the only instance that someone has ever managed to keep up with his appetite for ramen. His precious frog wallet was empty that night, but he was too impressed at his friend's prowess to be upset about it. Unfortunately for the both of them, Naruto had no time to visit Hinata when he came back. He, Sakura, and Kakashi were catching up and going through a training match. Afterwards, Naruto invited Sakura to eat and catch up, to which she agrees. Remember, since Naruto never had a crush on Sakura in this timeline, the two were fairly amicable as squad mates. When they were in the Land of Waves, Sakura happily helped Naruto figure out chakra control to master the wall-walking technique. They didn't interact much outside of missions and training, but they easily viewed each other as friends. They spent the night comparing each other's training. Near the end of the meal, Sakura mentions that she's surprised he asked her to hang out, as she figured he'd want to meet with his girlfriend the second that he had some free time. The use of the term girlfriend causes Naruto to choke on his ramen, much to Sakura's amusement. "It's nothing like that at all," he protests. "Hinata and I are just good friends, that's all." Sakura's smirk grows. "That's interesting, because I never said it was Hinata." Naruto groans, realizing he's put his foot in his mouth. After allowing her laughter to die down, Sakura says that he and Hinata would make a cute couple, and that she's happy to give girl advice if he ever needs it. Naruto doesn't risk embarrassing himself any further with words, and merely nods before he goes back to slurping ramen noodles. The next day, Naruto had planned to go visit the Hyuga estate to see Hinata, but he was called to Tsunade's office for an emergency mission. Gaara has been abducted by the Akatsuki, and Team Kakashi has been selected to head to the Sand Village and aid the investigation. Later that day, Hinata was walking out of a thread store. She had run out of red yarn again and needed to restock. On her way down the road, she crossed paths with Shikamaru. She asked him how progress with the Chunin exams were going. He mentions how it's such a drag, but he admits that running into Naruto yesterday was a nice surprise. Hinata's breath caught in her throat. Naruto was back? She hadn't heard that. Shikamaru mentioned that he sounded pretty busy, which Hinata could believe. She imagined Kakashi wanted to test how much he had learned. Still, a part of her wishes she could have been the first person he met with. After they went their separate ways, Hinata went straight towards Naruto's home. She knocked on the door and it creaked open. She couldn't help the amused smile. "I've told him he needs to start locking his door," she thinks to himself. She apologizes for intruding and enters the humble home. Hinata had been keeping the place clean for him while he was away, and in part to help how bad she missed him. So everything was still neat and tidy. Sadly, Hinata knew Naruto and knew that this was a sign that he wasn't here. She went to the ninja in charge of manning the gates to ask if they've seen Naruto today. They tell her that he and Team Kakashi left for some urgent mission, but he didn't know the details. Hinata nodded in understanding, but still felt upset. She admits she doesn't like how much she dislikes not seeing Naruto immediately on his return. She went to Kurenai hoping to confide in her sensei about what she's feeling. When she tells her sensei, Kurenai just chuckles, shaking her head in amusement at the pains of young love, and asks Hinata, "Have you ever heard the phrase, 'distance makes the heart grow fonder'?" Hinata's entire face goes red as Kurenai explains that it just means that she misses him more than she realized. She then changes the subject by asking Hinata if she wants to start her next sewing lesson. A little over a week later, and Naruto has returned from the mission with Team Kakashi and Team Guy. Due to intel they received during the mission, they had little time before they'd be deployed on their next mission. Naruto learned from Tsunade that Team Kakashi would need a new third squad member and a replacement squad leader while Kakashi recovers. Naruto takes it on himself to find a new teammate, and he immediately heads for Hinata. Hinata was en route to meet her team for a mission, and was not at all prepared for Naruto, of all people, to jump right in front of her. She was already awestruck by how Naruto had grown since they last met, but she was even less prepared for him to hold out his hand and say, "Hinata, I need you to come with me now. Please, take my hand." Upon hearing him speak, Hinata fell backwards and hits the ground, fainting before she even knew what happened. She's woken up by Kiba an indeterminable amount of time later, who's been fanning her with a sheet to help her wake up, with Naruto nowhere in sight. When she asked what happened, Kiba explained, "Apparently Naruto was looking for an extra team member for a big mission, but I told him we already had a mission with Kurenai-sensei, so he left to find someone else." Hinata was sad for two different reasons. She just embarrassed herself right in front of Naruto, but even worse, she fainted right away, making it feel like all her mental prep work was a complete waste of time. As much as she wanted to crawl into a hole, she pushed it aside and focused on the mission for her team. 4 or 5 days later, Naruto returned to the village alongside Sakura and new members of Team Kakashi, Sai, and Captain Yamato. Hinata was on her way to Ichiraku. Ever since her admittedly embarrassing encounter with Naruto, she's been craving ramen from Naruto's favorite shop, and made an effort to have a bowl from Ichiraku every now and again. To her surprise, she stumbled on Naruto and Iruka, who had the same idea as her. Iruka was very clued in on his former pupil's feelings for Hinata, and mentioned to Naruto that he just remembered that he had some tests to grade. He gave Naruto some money to afford a few bowls of ramen before leaving the two to finally have the first chance to speak properly in just shy of 3 years. Hinata consoled Naruto after hearing that he failed again to bring Sasuke back, saying that she's certain he'll succeed next time. He thanks her and asks how she's been doing. She happily recounts some of the more memorable moments over the past 2 years, prompting Naruto to share how he and Sakura beat Kakashi in a training exercise, the two sharing a laugh and, at least for a moment, forgetting each of their respective troubles. After the meal, Naruto offers to walk Hinata home, which she accepts gladly. Naruto feels more at peace now than he has in a long time, not only because he finally has some time to breathe between big missions, but also he underestimated just how badly he had missed Hinata's company. Hinata too was able to breathe easy. Barring a stutter or two every now and again, she's been able to happily carry on a conversation with Naruto completely accident-free. He also apologized for making her faint earlier. Apparently, he told Sakura what happened and she smacked him pretty hard for using such suggestive phrasing. Hinata giggles and assures him that it's fine. "More than anything, it was just really nice to see you again." They reach the front door of the estate and are stalling on their goodbyes, neither one wanting to really say goodbye just yet. Hiyashi opens the door, instructing Hinata to come inside so she can get some rest. She relents and tells Naruto that she had a wonderful time before beginning to walk towards her father. As Naruto watched her, an echo of memories rang through his head. Haku asking him if there was someone precious to him. Iruka asking the class who they'd want to spend their last day on Earth with. and Hinata offering him the ointment after his battle with Kiba in the preliminaries. He wasn't sure why, but he felt compelled to act. Like, if he didn't say something now, then he may never get the nerve to do it again. He shouts out, "Lord Hiyashi!" startling Hiyashi, Hinata, and a few other Hyuga who were near the front entrance, including Neji and Hanabi. All eyes turned to Naruto, who was on his knees, head lowered to the floor with his hands on either side. "Please give me permission to date your daughter!" All mouths gasped in surprise, Hinata's cheeks flushing, hands covering her mouth as Neji gripped her shoulder, keeping her upright in the event that she fainted, but she would not allow herself. Through sheer force of will, she maintained her consciousness. She needed to hear what her father's response would be. Hiyashi closed his eyes, taking a deep breath, and asks Naruto to lift his head. Naruto does so, rising back to his feet. Hiyashi tells Naruto that he respects his courage to ask such a question so outright, and he admits he feels as if he owes Naruto a debt of gratitude. Back when he fought Neji in the Chunin exams, he opened Hiyashi's eyes to the flaws of the Hyuga's main and branch systems, which he had dissolved just last year. "And so," he says firmly, "in regards to your request, I regret that I cannot grant you that wish." Hinata's heart sank faster than a lead balloon before her father turned to her with a smile. Because that is a decision for her to make. Overwhelmed with emotion from her father's words and Naruto's declaration, tears of joy began to spill from her eyes as she responds with a yes accompanied by a nod. Naruto smiles wider than he has in some time. This was the last thing Hinata saw before she finally succumbed to her nerves and passed out yet again, being immediately caught by Neji, who assures Naruto that she's fine, just overwhelmed. A few days later, Hinata goes to the training grounds to check in on Naruto, with a basket looped in her arm. When she arrives, she sees Naruto hard at work training. He shared with her that he's training with Yamato and Kakashi to master a change in chakra nature to evolve his Rasengan into a brand new technique. She simply stood with a smile as she watched him work. That smile was near impossible to remove from her face since that night. She and Naruto were officially a couple. Even though very little had changed in how they interact, the simple change in title from friend to girlfriend that she's acquired was enough for her. And besides, she wants him to focus on training anyways. She knows this is important to him so he can bring back Sasuke, and she wants to support him however she can. Which brings her to why she is here. Kakashi instructs Naruto to take a break, and that they'll get back to work in an hour. Hinata approaches him and offers him a boxed lunch. She's been offering healthy, non-ramen lunches for him as he's trained, as well as offering what tips she can on chakra nature changes since she knows 8 trigrams air palm. Naruto occasionally laments how difficult and confusing it all is. Hinata merely smiles and assures him that he'll figure it out some way. She's certain of it. Some time passes and Naruto returns from backing up Team Asuma from their revenge mission against the Akatsuki for killing Asuma. Kakashi had just enough chakra to send Pakun ahead of them to Hinata and update her that Naruto was coming back with a broken arm. With that knowledge, she hurried to grab Sakura, and the two went to meet Naruto and the others upon their return. Sakura was able to cast Naruto's arm and left him in Hinata's care. The two went to Ichiraku's, arguing the whole walk there on who should pay. Naruto insisted because Sakura taught him early on that it's the gentlemanly thing to do. But Hinata argued that he's barely been on any missions lately because of his training and probably couldn't afford it. And besides, she says, this way I can feel like I'm finally repaying you for visiting me so much while I was in the hospital back during the Chunin exams. Naruto finally relents, though he claims it was only because his wallet is in the pocket on his bad arm's side. Hinata ended up having to feed him herself since he was currently unable to hold his chopsticks. Both were a little embarrassed, but they each got a lot of happiness from the interaction. Across the bar, Ayame and Teuchi couldn't help but adore the touching moment between the new couple. The next 10 months or so, I'm not kidding, that's how much time passes, would be largely uneventful, not including the news that Sasuke had killed Orochimaru, and a bit later, Deidara and Itachi. Naruto and Hinata frequently went on various missions with their respective teams. occasionally teaming up for one assignment or another. They always made sure to have date night at least once every week, depending on how busy they ended up having to be. Sometimes they'd go out in the village and just enjoy their day, sometimes they'd get Ichiraku, and on occasion, Hinata would visit Naruto's home. Whenever this happened, she would sometimes end up staying the night. What happens during these nights, I leave to your imagination. Yahoo! The good times couldn't last forever, though, as Naruto was called to the Hokage's office to hear the worst news of his life. Jiraiya has been killed in battle at the hands of the Akatsuki. Naruto storms out of the office and wanders lifelessly through the village. Sakura goes to Hinata, explaining what they learned and saying that she cannot find him anywhere. Hinata didn't even need her Byakugan. She knew where he was. He took her there every so often for picnics or just to enjoy the sunset. It was a hill just outside the forest's edge that overlooks the whole village. When she arrived, he was standing beside the tree, staring emptily into the distance. Hinata walked up beside him, pulling his head into the crook of her neck, and whispered, "I'm so sorry, Naruto." Perhaps it was the gesture. Perhaps it was the words. Perhaps it was moments away from happening anyways, and Hinata's presence was mere coincidence. Regardless, Naruto broke down, dropping his weight into his girlfriend's arms as he openly cries. Neither really know how long they spent up there, but by the time Naruto had managed to calm down and collect himself, he was ready to redouble his training. Hinata wished him the best of luck, promising to cook him a whole feast when he gets back from Mount Myoboku. Of course, neither of them knew the nightmare that was on its way. Pain had attacked the village, and it took everything the shinobi of the leaf had just to hold out long enough for Naruto to arrive with the toads. When Katsuyu relayed to everybody that Naruto wanted the rest of them to stay out of this fight, Hinata was filled with even more worry than in the original canon. Using her Byakugan, she watched every second of the fight. In any other scenario, the sight of Naruto's newfound strength would take her breath away. The leaps and bounds that he always manages to progress when he trains has always awed her. But right now, she was desperately praying that it was enough. Unfortunately, it wasn't. Naruto was starting to lose ground. He was pinned down and at Pain's mercy. Moving on pure instinct, Hinata leaps into the fray, attacking Pain with every ounce of strength she has. Naruto shouts at her, screaming that she shouldn't be here, but Hinata tells him that he's spent his whole life looking out for everyone else. He needs someone who's willing to protect him just as fiercely, or she'd never be able to call herself his equal. That's when she confesses her love for the first time, before Pain seemingly kills her. Naruto's frenzied state is largely unchanged, albeit possibly more ferocious than originally. In the aftermath, once Nagato has undone the deaths he dealt to the leaf, he hurries to try and find Hinata, who's laying on the floor with Sakura tending to her. Sakura assures him that she's on the mend, but she's not sure how long Hinata will be out. Naruto balls his fists, furious at himself. Not only did he allow Hinata to be hurt, but because he lost control, he can't even remember properly what she said to him. He felt pathetic. Seeing her teammate struggle, Sakura speaks up. "I know that look," she tells him, "and you better stop it. Hinata knows full well the risk she put herself in, but that didn't stop her." An image of Sasuke flashes in her mind, before smiling sympathetically at Naruto. People can be pretty stupid when it comes to the ones we love. And Hinata, Sakura shakes her head. "You should hear it from her. It'll mean more." Naruto tilts his head in confusion, but chooses to trust Sakura, and he helps carry Hinata to a medical camp that was set up during the attack to tend to the wounded. A few hours later, and Hinata finally wakes up to see Naruto sitting beside her. After making sure she was fine, he clapped his hands together and apologized, feeling guilty about her condition, as well as not being able to remember what she said because of the Nine Tails. Hinata smiles and takes his hands, saying he has nothing to apologize for. She told Naruto that she'd never run from a fight or back down when someone needs her, for that too is her ninja way. As for what she said, she blushed and averted her gaze. She apologized, but said that repeating it would honestly be a little embarrassing at the moment. Naruto smiles and assures her that she can tell him again whenever she's ready. And this time, I swear to remember it. Believe it. Hinata chuckles and thanks him for understanding. Hinata felt strange regarding the aftermath. She's a little disappointed that Naruto wasn't able to recall her confession, but she also acknowledges that she was speaking more on pure adrenaline than genuine courage. She's determined to make sure that she tells him properly next time. Unfortunately, Naruto and Hinata wouldn't be able to spend time together until after the disastrous Gokage summit, resulting in the death of Danzo. Thanks, Sasuke, genuinely. And Naruto's conflict with his former teammate. Naruto introduces Hinata to Tazuna and Inari, who came to the Leaf to aid in the rebuild. It's then that the two are approached by Karui and two other ninja from the Hidden Cloud. They storm up to Naruto, demanding intel on Sasuke, who's just kidnapped Killer Bee, the Eight Tails Jinchuriki, for the Akatsuki. Naruto refused, and insisted that, if they needed violence to satisfy their anger, then to take it out on himself. The two Cloud Ninja behind Karui are stunned, but she herself doesn't waste a second, slugging Naruto in the face so hard that it knocks him flat off his feet. Naruto doesn't resist, he simply gets back up to take another beating. After several minutes of this, Hinata's finally had enough. She strikes Karui with her air palm, sending the Cloud Ninja flying and slamming into a wooden beam. She apologizes to Naruto for getting involved, but she won't stand by while he's being hurt like this. Karui shouts about an international incident, when all of a sudden, everyone in the Leaf is suddenly glaring daggers at her and her Cloud Ninja allies. Shinobi and villagers alike surrounding her as they call her out for throwing the first punch, saying that if anyone was in the wrong, it's the Cloud. The crowd starts jeering at Karin and the other ninja, screaming that they're terrorists and to not blame Naruto for the actions of a rogue ninja. Naruto silences them all and tells Karui that no matter what she tries, she'll never get him to give up anything about Sasuke. Karui's squad mates drag her out of the village, apologizing for the disturbance. With his conviction to find Sasuke reignited, he goes with Kakashi and Yamato to find Sasuke again. Hinata wanted to come, but he refused. Sorry, Hinata, but this is something I have to do. She relents, asking him to be careful as he runs off. She then goes to find Sakura and get her up to speed. And now we get to an interesting part of this topic. It's at this point that Sakura would usually gather a team of her friends to hunt down Sasuke and try to dissuade Naruto by giving a false confession. But the main reason she does that in the canon is because of Naruto's crush on her. Except that's not the situation anymore. Naruto never develops a crush on Sakura in this timeline, meaning that she wouldn't be able to use the same method to try and convince him. That being said, Sakura will still intercept Naruto and plead for him to give up on bringing back Sasuke. She insists that she's moved on from him and that he's not worth the risk. She tells Naruto that Hinata would be heartbroken if Sasuke killed him. Naruto admits he'd never want to do something that'd hurt Hinata, but even so, this is just something he has to do. For better and for worse, he sees Sasuke as one of his best friends, and he will not let any friend of his, not even Sasuke, drown in hatred and revenge. Sakura, realizing that she can't convince him, tells him that she won't give him the option, before disappearing into smoke. The Sakura that was talking to him was a clone. The real Sakura was en route to try and take Sasuke out alongside Sai, Kiba, and Lee. She knew that she ultimately could not persuade him. That's why she sent a clone instead of herself. If she couldn't stop him, she could at least stall him. From here, the rest of this encounter plays out as it does in canon. Sakura and Kakashi both fail to beat Sasuke, Naruto confronts him, Sasuke escapes alongside Obito, and the Leaf Ninja take Karin prisoner. Naruto and Hinata would have a few days to spend together before he gets called to a mission with Yamato, intended to keep him away from the coming war. And now we skip the entire war arc as nothing changes there, and just go straight to the aftermath upon Sasuke having just left the village. Again. But for good reasons, I think. Naruto and Hinata are cuddling on his couch as they watch TV. Hinata takes Naruto's new prosthetic hand in her own as she leans on him. Between the loss of Neji and Naruto's arm, both of them had undergone a lot of emotions as the war's aftermath began to settle in. Naruto glanced at Hinata and decided to boldly ask, "Do you want to get a place for the two of us?" Hinata was shocked. She hadn't considered the thought of living together with Naruto. They'd never even brought up the conversation of moving in with each other. But now that she thinks on it, they have been officially dating for just over a year now, and barring a few trivial arguments here and there, they got along wonderfully. Hinata smiles and agrees, but insists that she at least put up half the money for it. Naruto chuckles and agrees to her request. At this point, the only significant change would be that after Tonari, Naruto would immediately propose to her, at which point the story just plays out the same. That concludes the story of what happens if Naruto had developed a crush on Hinata. This was a fun time figuring out, and a good excuse to watch through the anime again. Hope you guys liked it. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an upload. Check out my buddy Tyler Crux. He does a lot of fun stuff on his videos, like his... what's that stupid series called? Like his Naruto Let's Plays. Their names are completely skipped. Broken Bond! Broken Bond. Oh my god. Wow. Okay, I've butchered this outro. Later, nerds!